B, like my mom rocked me when I moved. When we moved, she hit me with okay, I got some news to tell you. You know, he's not your biological father. So then it kind of
Wow.
like, yeah, it like rocked me because I was just like, what? So I remember like I cried myself to sleep when she told me that night.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Flip That Switch. I am your host, Brandon, aka B to the Sis Naive, and we back with another episode. If you didn't get a chance to go back and watch the previous episode, please go back and watch it. It was a great episode. Matter of fact, before you watch this one, go back and watch that one. But today, we're going to be diving into a new episode, and the person that's stopping by to interview with me today is a guy that I had the pleasure of meeting on a brand trip. He lives in LA, grinding. He plays semi-pro. He's a hooper. He's into fashion. He's into fitness. Great content on his IG, just doing workouts and doing his fitness thing, but also into fashion. And what he's trying to put out there is that, you can still be fashionable on a budget. You ain't got to go out here and spend thousands of dollars on outfits. You know what I'm saying? You can spend $100 and $200 and still steal the spotlight. You know what I mean? And so he's just really been focusing on that, focusing on his brand. I know he got some merch out there. And so really just trying to put himself in a position where his brand is out there for people to see. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my boy T Bell to the show. What's up, bro?
What's good, B? Man, thank you for having me, bro.
Man, no doubt. Glad you can make it, man, and we could do this episode. It's been a long time coming, so appreciate you stopping by, bro.
For sure, for sure.
All right, so let's dive right in. So, T Bell, man, how are you mentally? Talk to me a little bit about where you are mentally in life right now.
Um, Mentally, I feel like I'm doing great. Very equanimous. That's one of my
Mm.
favorite words to use. uh, just very balanced. I take care of my health. Focused on that. As far as the mental goes, it's just about the meditation and staying balanced. And it's a lot of chaos going on around us a lot of times. So I just try and meditate daily and stretch daily and just keep my mental balance. Really, I feel like I'm doing pretty good.
That's what's up, man. You mentioned that obviously you feel pretty balanced. How long has it been that way? Has it been that way for a while for you now?
Ooh, I would say probably like the last year, like 9 months. I was dealing with a breakup about in April. It'd be like 2 years now, and I felt
Okay.
like that definitely took a toll on me. Felt like I was just like all over the place mentally, kind of questioning my calling and what it is I should be doing with my life, and so that definitely that knocked me off course a little bit because everything was so intertwined with that person.
Understandable. How long did it take for you to kind of get to a point where you were like, okay, I can live life and I can heal through this, but it's starting to get better each and every day? Because obviously, with a breakup, it takes a while, man, especially if you love that individual. You know what I'm saying? If y'all had so many things going on, did everything together, and then all of a sudden you solo dolo, it's like, man, how do I continue to move on with life? So how long did it take you to where you were comfortable to the point where you're like, okay, I'm finally starting to heal and get through this?
I would say about a year and a half. So probably about like 6 months ago, probably like last summer, where I kind of hit that stride and was really finding myself again. Like top of the year last year, like the first year after the breakup, it was kind of like, ooh, like things started to come my way. Like I had landed a national campaign with Nike. I did the John Morant commercial early in February last year, and then I came out toward the end of the year last year, like November. And then during the summer, I landed a couple more gigs, and I ended up getting like a brand deal with Bevel. So like kind of just staying busy with like content creation and modeling and doing other things that could keep my mind just going, I think that's when it started to flow again, where I was like, okay, my manifestation energy is kicking back in. I'm thinking about other things that just have to do with me and like how I can do better for myself. And then, yeah, the universe just started showing me favor. And I felt like midway through the year last year, where it was like, okay, I started really focusing on my fitness goals, started to transform my body a bit more. And and then once I just kind of just locked in on me, I started to realize like I know I'd be good, but I would say for sure at the beginning it was difficult.
Yeah, no, I feel that. You still keep in touch with the person?
Um, Not
Are y'all
as
cool?
like we cool. Don't get it twisted. Like we cool. That's always gonna be my dog. But
Okay.
like it's not it's not the same. Like it just wasn't conducive. Like it wasn't really helping us to stay as connected and just checking in on each other and stuff because like obviously we kind of need to move forward with our lives and go on and try and find love again and things like that. So it wasn't helping. Like at first we were contacting each other pretty frequently and staying in touch, and then it was just like like why are we doing this? Like what purpose is this really serving in the growth and betterment for our individual selves?
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Oftentimes, man. Well, sometimes when people have bad, well, I'm not even gonna call it a bad breakup because I don't even know what the breakup was bad or not. I will say, oftentimes, I feel like people when they break up, they have a little bit of bad blood, right? Or there's a little bit of malice. But what I want to ask you is because I don't feel like the way you've just been talking, I don't feel like it was that type of breakup. So what you can still give people flowers even in the midst of that breakup, right?
Yeah.
So my question to you is if you had anything to say to the individual right now, what would you say? What type of flowers would you give her? Because even in the midst of y'all separating and going y'all separate ways, like you said, that's still your homie, that's still your dog. So if you had to say one or two things great about the individual that made you stick with her as long as you stuck with her, what would you say those two things were?
For sure, I see you. You are seen, and you are killing it. And you're doing a great job, and you're doing some of the things that you imagine yourself doing, and I'm proud of you. Like it's still at the end of the day, like I want to see her be successful, and I want success for her. It sucks a little bit that we weren't able to like get some of the things going that she's doing now or that I'm doing now while we were together. But yeah, I just wanted to know that she's seen and that she's doing a great job, and I'm proud of her. And like I really am excited for the like what she has ahead and like who she's gonna become because she's like ever evolving the same as me.
I love that, man. That's what's up, bro. That's dope, man. Giving flowers even in the midst of that's just dope. I don't think people do that enough, so that's why I asked you to do that, man. That's very dope of you, bro.
No, for sure.
Do you feel that you're ready for love again?
Heavens no. Heavens no. Like honestly, I for a long time I felt like Omarion, like this ice box where my heart is. Like I don't really, you know, I'm not even thinking about love right now. Like, and it's sad to say because there definitely has been several beautiful women that have come and gone through this
Mm-hmm.
time frame where I've kind of just not been emotionally available, and I feel kind of like dang missed out on some good things, some things that you probably would have dreamed up and been like, dang, this look like this could be something like for real, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm just like, man, I gotta focus on T Bell right now, and I need to really get T Bell where he needs to be in society and financially and spiritually, so I can really just be who I am called to be. So But yeah, right now I would definitely say the heart is a little bit frozen over.
I feel that. I feel that. And I know it's got to be tough, man. You being in LA, you got beautiful weather all throughout the year. You know what I'm saying? You got the turn up spots. I mean, I'm sure the women are all over the place, and they coming at you hot and heavy. I know it's got to be tough, bro. Like but I will say that it seems like you have that discipline, right? That maturity to be like, you know what? At the end of the day, I get it. Y'all see what y'all see. Y'all like what y'all like, but I'm not there. I'm not in the headspace to be able to give you what you're looking for.
Mm-mm.
Versus some men to be like, this is my time to take advantage of it. I'm single. I'm ready to mingle. I'm out. I'm a kid in the candy store again. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go out here and do what I do and get what I get.
Yeah.
Um, why is it so important to be locked in spiritually and locked in to the point where you are overcoming that temptation? Why is that important to you, bro?
Um, just breaking free of the matrix, breaking free of that lustfulness. I think that's like the final thing as a mature man that I need to conquer, and
Yeah,
just be honest with myself. Like, whether it's lusting for sex or it's lusting for, uh, things that just make me comfortable. Like, I think I'm in that era where I just want to work on being a bit more uncomfortable to get comfortable again, striving toward new things, new goals, new habits. So I feel like, if I just keep doing the same old, I'm gonna be the same old person.
right.
But it's like when you set those new goals and you're striding toward becoming a better version of you, you gotta leave some things in the past, and you gotta shed some things. So I think that's been a key for me and why my mind has shifted the way it is because like I want growth, I want change, I want to evolve, and I just want better for myself. So I know that's what kind of comes with it.
Yeah, yep. And you're not gonna give in to the distractions. You on a mission. You on a mission. You on a fast track. You got one track mind to, like you said, for growth, and you just gonna eliminate all distractions, no matter
Yeah,
how much of a distraction they are. Yeah, you on,
and
but you on a mission.
don't get me wrong, like I'm not perfect. Like I still
Yeah.
find myself in moments where I give in, or like I've
Yep.
I've had my fair share of times where like even in the past I was doing this thing where it was like called monk mode, and you would give like 6 months of the year to soberness, no weed, no drugs, no alcohol, no partying, and focus in on a goal that you want to achieve and accomplish. And then the other 6 months you can like do whatever you choose. If you want to
Mm,
party, if you want to drink, you want to smoke. And I was doing that for, I would say, like the last 3 years. And each time I came back from the 6 months sober, I'd be excited to drink, I'd be excited to party, I'd be excited to quote unquote get back outside. And then I kind of realized in that too, where it was like, oh wow, this is a cycle. Like, it's fun, it's cool, and then I proved to myself that I have some form of self-discipline. But here I am, like right back outside, like just standing in the club looking around, like what am I really seeking and waiting for? So this go round, this, like I said, is like the third year. So I'm like 7 months at the end of this month sober, and I'm just like, dang, I don't even really know if I want to go back. Like I really need to understand like why I was feeling those ways and wanting to do those things, because the goals that I have now that I want to achieve, those things really don't serve no purpose.
mm,
So it's been a journey though, to say the least. Like I still have my moments like where I be feeling like I want to do this or I want to do that. But then I just understand like my why. My why has become so strong, so
yeah.
prominent, and it's got me pretty focused, like you said, on that one track, just like locked in.
Yeah. When you were going to the club, do you think it was just because it was like, okay, the 6 months is up, now let me just go ahead and do my thing because now I got 6 months to do whatever I want to do? Or did you really just truly have a desire? Because there's a difference, right? It's either A, I truly have a desire to be in a club, and those 6 months that I went through was the most miserable. So now let me make up for that. Or B, um, because the 6 months is up, let me just go ahead and get back in the club. Even though the club ain't my thing, it's just I can do it. I have the freedom to do it, so let me do it. Which one was it for you?
Honestly, I would say it was the environment, like
Okay.
who I was circled around more than anything. Like I don't think I was just like I want to get back in the club. It was more, like you said in LA, you kind of get those events like when you around the influencer homies and you around the model homies and all that. It's like it's always an event. So you got the open bars, you got the vibes, you got parties to events and stuff. So the environment kind of had me like, all right, I'm back. Like I ain't doing that thing no more. Like what's going on? What's going on? And then there'd be people hitting me up trying to tell me what's going on too. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, just the people I was circling myself around and the environment I was putting myself in kind of had me like, all right, come on, let's get outside. Like, whereas now I'm way more like isolated. Like I kind of got myself in the valley. I'm out the way. Like I ain't around too much other noise. And then I got like a nice little routine. People hit me up now, like, man, you going out tonight? What you got going? And I'm in the gym already. I got off
Hmm.
work. I ate my meal. Got my routine going. I'm in the gym, and then I'm gonna come back home and enjoy my space. Like, and
Yeah. You
yeah,
changed your environment.
yep,
Boy. Boy. Man, I'm telling you, if so many people did that, man, and people are afraid to do it, right? It's the fear of the unknown, right? My environment is convenient. My environment is all that I know.
yep,
If I change that up, life is going. What is life going to look like? Am I going to get bored? Am I just going to be sitting around twiddling my fingers? Am I?
yeah,
A lot of people have that fear, bro. But I tell people all the time, I talk to people and I'll be like, man, once you change your environment and it becomes a habit, your routine becomes a habit, you don't even think about that stuff like you used to.
nope,
Alcohol, the drugs, and all that is your mind is so shifted towards you trying to grow and develop as you're doing. You don't even need none of that. You figure out that you don't even need none of that no more. Now, yeah, do you dibble and dabble from time to time? Sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because we are human. We ain't perfect, right? Those vices, even though those certain vices go away from time to time, they'll still call you. The enemy is not going to stop attacking you just because you're growing. That's when he's going to try to get at you more because he think you capping. You know
yeah,
what I mean? He's like, I don't believe that you've changed your environment. I don't believe that you can't be in the club. You can't be around women. You can't be smoking. I don't believe that you've changed. So let me go ahead and present this to you and see just how much you've changed, right?
literally,
Yeah, yeah. So now what it becomes is changing your environment, changing your scenery, like you said, getting a routine, getting some structure, some stability in your life. And that's going to go a long way in making sure that you don't dibble and dabble, that you minimalize. I can't even say the word
no,
that
you got it.
okay, yeah, that you minimalize dibbling and dabbling. And it becomes a point where your mind and your growth is outweighing those temptations, right?
Yep,
So I can applaud you for that, man. A lot of people, it's tough, bro. It's tough to change
man,
that environment. So
yeah, that temptation is crazy, and I think too, it's like it goes back to kind of like your subconscious and like how you think, like the things that you wanted to achieve or the things that you thought in life that you always wanted to seek out subconsciously, they're always playing in the background. And the more that you try to like control and grab at them and like hold on to them tight, like, oh, I always smoke or I always drink. And then like the moments that you let go of it, subconsciously, and you're like, I'm gonna just, or consciously making that decision to say, I'm not gonna smoke, I'm not gonna drink, because like subconsciously you always thought you would need to do it. That's when
Yeah.
it kind of starts to present itself in ways that you knew you would enjoy. And that is the battle, like that I realized
Yeah.
over time, where I'm like, oh, okay, okay. Because I've always wanted those things, and I've subconsciously thought about like always doing this and that. The moment that I let go of that idea or that ideology is the moment that like it really presents itself in the way that I thought I wanted it.
Mm.
And yeah, that's when it gets deep. Then that's when you gotta kind of really make those decisions to say, like, this is the track I'm on right now. Like, let me get this going. That ain't gonna go nowhere. You know?
Yeah. It's an executive decision, bro. It ain't just a decision. Like you got to make some huge executive decisions with this stuff, bro.
Yeah, for
Cause
sure.
like, dang, if I go out and do this, man, I ain't gonna be no good tomorrow. I ain't gonna want to go to the gym. It throws off your whole routine just from one night of, you getting your pleasure, however you getting it. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I feel that. Let's talk a little bit about your childhood, man. Like, talk to me a little bit about how it was growing up. Did you have both parents in the home? Do you have siblings? Kind of talk a little bit about the family dynamic growing up.
Up until I was 12, I had both parents in the home. I got two sisters, one that's almost 50
Wow.
and one that's 30. And then I got older brother that's, I believe he'll be 45 this year.
Okay.
So it's four of us total. And then I definitely had like a pretty good childhood. I would say like up until about 12. And then like once the divorce happened, it shook us up and everything kind of changed, and energy was it was very different, and figuring out who I was. And I felt like, to not go into the streets, I was always trying to seek mentorship and like, like a big brother or a father figure, and I found that when we moved away from my dad and stuff. There was like a barber that he ended up mentoring me. I learned how to cut hair at like 12, 13, and I worked in the barbershop, when I wasn't playing ball. Had a little under the table paying job, and was just sweep hair and, be in the barbershop. And he was a man of God. So it aligned with my mom because my mom's a minister.
Okay.
So yeah, for me, like I just grew up in the church. Me and my little sister that's 30 now, we both had like a different upbringing, I feel like, than my older siblings, because my mom like turned her life around by the time she had me. And
Okay.
like gave her life to God and was really focused on church. And the church, like before I was born, she was already transitioning, and then when I was born, it was she was more locked in on it. And so I just saw a different her compared to what my older siblings got. But they, she was very still much, had to go to church and stuff, and they all went to church and whatnot. Like, but it was just like she was way more serious by the time I came around. and,
Yeah.
and yeah, like upbringing was good. Always like kind of got what I wanted because I didn't really want that much. I just ball was life. The basketball was
Mhm.
put in the cradle before I could walk. So I was always just focused on basketball. And then by the time I was like 12, 13, moms kind of had that sit down with me like, all right, you ain't going to be getting no more whoopings. It's just me, you and your sister. I can't really afford for you to go to college. So like if you
Mm.
you really want to go to college, like you're going to have to kind of figure it out and get a scholarship or something. So from then on, I was locked in. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to college. Like I know that's where the girls at. I want to be there. Like I was
Right.
like, I was set on it. Like I'm like, I'm gonna like, this is where everybody at. Like I want to go to that next step, and I was just focused up. And again, like environment, moving away from my friends and family at that young age, like the suburbs of Chicago. It was like it was real easy for me to focus and just say, all right, I'm finna do this. I have a great opportunity. Like I knew I had a better chance than my cousins and certain
Mm,
people in my family. Like I knew I was given an opportunity to make something. And I was like, okay, let me take it, you know. And I took it and stayed focused. And looking back at it, most of it was a blur. Like I don't really remember too much of the details from high school and junior high and all that stuff. Like I remember some of the friends that I created and the brothers that I have to this day, that I still talk to. It's like five of them, yeah, about 4, 5 of them, and outside of that, it was just ball and making sure I'm playing well. And I wish, looking back, I would have focused on my diet a bit more and understood that, but you live and you learn. Like I like I said, I didn't really have that father figure in the house from 12 on up. So it wasn't nobody telling me to stand up straight, fix your
yeah.
posture, make sure you eating like this. And, somebody to see that was doing it. I kind of had to play like that father figure for my little sister and kind of had to be the man of the house from that point on. And I think that shaped my identity into who I am today for sure. Just kind of being like a jokester and try not to take things too serious because I had to be so serious when I was younger at certain points. And I always had to be the one speaking life into people at a young age and telling my sister this was wrong or that's right, to the point now where I'm actually thankful that I can just focus on me, you
Yeah.
know. Now it's like all the things that I've learned up until this point, I'm able to take a deep breath and be like, okay, like now it's time to just apply those things to yourself, discipline yourself, do better for yourself, so you really can help the people that you want to help.
That's
But
dope, man.
yeah, like I don't feel like I had a bad childhood or anything. There were things that I used to resent, growing up, like why couldn't I have what other kids had, or why don't we go on family vacations, or like there was little things that you saw other kids doing, especially when you play like varsity basketball or junior varsity basketball. You start seeing like how the other kids live, because remember how you used to go to each teammate's home. Like there'd be like 1 day out the week where like we do like a not like a potluck, but it'd be like you get to go to their teammate's house. Like you had a
Okay.
whole team at your house, and their parents would cook dinner. So there was parents that definitely gated community, steaks, salmon. And then it was like, I think when we did it, we went to Chuck E. Cheese or something. We went somewhere. We was like, yeah, we taking it. Everybody not fitting in this apartment. Like we are going to this restaurant. Like, and I
Yeah,
don't
for
know how we
sure.
going yeah, like I don't know how we gonna cover it for everybody, but we'll figure it out, babe. Like, kind of thing. And it was just moments like that where I would like kind of question it. I didn't really understand, but looking back on it, my mom gave everything she had, to make sure I was able to fit in and I was able to just, have the basics and make sure I was good. And I'm thankful for that. Like, I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's same with me, man. I didn't have a father growing up, and I was thankful for my mom because she did the best she could and she gave what she could. And I can't. You can't, like, sometimes I look back on it, but then I also realize, like, man, look, what was supposed to happen happened, bro. Like,
Yeah.
there's times where I wish that, yeah, I wish I had my father in my life, like you said, to push you to be, especially in sports, man. With me, like, push me in sports, take me, like, coach me, do the necessary things to get me prepared, because I did like sports, I did sports, you know what I'm saying, and for me, it was like I didn't have that individual pushing me. So it was like the motivation factor wasn't there like it should have been. You know what I mean? And then I start to look back on it like, you know what? At the end of the day, man, my journey was my journey and it took me to where I am now.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate that, you know?
Yeah.
Speaking of dad, when they divorced, so prior to your mom and dad divorcing, were you real close with your dad?
Um, I mean, like, I say like a yes and a no. Like, I've always been like the observant type, so I kind of just like watched him and stuff. So I picked up on some of his habits. Like, he don't like to yell, he don't like to argue. He loved popcorn and like onion rings, and there was like certain things like I just picked up on from him. But I would say like by like fifth grade, I beat him 1-on-1 in basketball, and after that, it kind of was like nothing else he could really teach me. Like obviously, morals and ethics and like just how to be a good person and treat people and stuff. Like again, I was able to just watch him and how he moved. But he was like always going to work. Like he was like the setup that we had was like growing up, he would go get the money, mom was stay at home mom. So he was always gone. And, a lot of the times, like if we wasn't playing sports and stuff together, and like I said, like once I beat him, it was kind of like he didn't want to play no more after that. Like it wasn't, it really wasn't fun for him.
Yeah.
So, and then my dad, he from Mississippi. Like he older. My dad, like right now, he like 67, 68, and he, back then they really wasn't too focused on education. Like he was outside, like so he it wasn't the smartest man. Like he just knew to get a good job and stay out the streets and don't do this and don't do that. So it wasn't like he was like helping me with my homework and stuff like that. It was really like a lot of the stuff I just kind of like had to learn on my own. And when I was young,
Mhm.
the internet was just coming out. Like early 2000s and stuff like that. So I was super fascinated by the internet. Like I was making people's MySpaces and burning CDs, and I was figuring out how to put like a whole video game on a blank disc. Like I was like I was really DIY. Like I would just try to do
Yeah.
it myself and just try to figure it out. And they didn't really know. And but they gave me, like I remember I had a computer. We had a big computer in the house. Like they gave me the things that I was like yearning for most of the time. So
Okay.
for that, I couldn't be mad.
Yeah, I feel that. So when that happened and he left, it was kind of like it didn't it didn't hurt you. It was kind of like out of sight, out of mind because you weren't used to having that presence, that full time presence in the home anyway, right? It was kind of just like, oh well, okay, he gone. Life goes on. Is that kind of what your thought process was after everything happened?
B, like my mom rocked me when I moved. When we moved, she hit me with the, okay, I got some news to tell you. You know, he's not your biological father. So then it kind of
Wow.
like, yeah, it like rocked me because I was just like, what? So I remember like I cried myself to sleep when she told me that night. Like we get to that new apartment, we moved from the suburbs, and it was just like, and I feel like that was a piece too why stuff was like a blur because certain things I just compartmentalized at a young age, and I never really questioned it again, and I never really was like, well, why this, why that? Like I was just like, well, shoot, we here now. Like let's get to it. Like I mean, like ain't nothing, like certain things
Yeah.
kind of made sense. Like cause my dad, like I still call him my dad. That's my dad. Like he cut the umbilical cord, signed my birth certificate. Like he made the decision to be my father, but he's not biologically my father. So like, like certain things kind of made sense. Cause like in my head, I was like, it felt kind of like that Will Smith episode where he was just standing in the living room looking. Then
Yep.
Uncle Phil kind of hugged him. He was like, why my dad don't
Why he
want
don't
me?
want me?
Yeah, why he
Yeah.
don't want me? But like certain things kind of made sense because it was just like, okay, if I put my like as a mature adult now, I'm like, if I put myself in his shoes, like he did what he could. Like he gave his wallet, he gave his mind in the ways that he could, and but he still had a life. He still had things that he wanted, and the things that happened between him and my mom. I was young. I don't know all of the fine details, but I definitely, like I said, I compartmentalized certain things. Like when she hit me with that, like 12, 13, like she gave me that sit down and was just like I said, like she was like, can't give you whoopings no more. Like you gotta grow up. Like I can't get you in the, like I'm not gonna be able to afford for you to go to college. Like, and then I think I don't know the exact like order in which all that happened, but I think like when we first got there, she told me that he wasn't my dad. And then I remember him like driving to where we were and he was like crying in the car and he was like sad that she left. And I was just like, dang, like I just didn't understand. Like like looking back now as a mature man, I'm like, dang, like, he knew he messed up and they both messed up. Like I guess he cheated, and cheated first, and she cheated, and it was like this whole thing. But I always been one of those people that just try to put myself in that person's shoes. Like whenever
Yeah.
they're explaining or expressing something, I'm like, well, I could definitely understand where he came from, with why he was feeling how he felt, and I can definitely understand where my mom came from, why she did what she did. But you know, like life just be life, and
Man, for real, for real. Did did you ever find out who your biological dad was?
man, that's another great question, B. Like I definitely wanted to. There was a
Okay.
time. There was a time, definitely over this, like when I say like from the breakup with my ex, where I was just like trying to figure everything out. Like I'm like, all right, now let me see who he is. I got two siblings I know of, like a older sister and a younger brother on his side, and I'm just like, dang, like I wonder where he at. So then I think I end up finding like a phone number for the son, I think, and I tried to hit him and I tried to text him and no response, and again, try to put myself in his shoes. I'm like, well, I can only imagine if somebody randomly texts me like, hey, I think I'm your brother, like like
Right, right. No, for sure, for sure. Yeah,
you know. And I was just like, okay, like, but I was a little butthurt. I ain't gonna hold. Like, I definitely was butthurt by that. Like, I'm thinking it was gonna be like a Disney Channel movie type. Like, okay, he gonna answer the phone. Like, I'm gonna link. We gonna sit
yeah,
down. Like, I'm gonna meet. We gonna meet sis. Like, but it was like no response, no kickback, and it just I don't know. Like a part of me, yeah, I do want to meet him. I would love to hear his voice, see his stature, shake his hand. I can't again, like I can't be mad or hold no resentment toward him because I don't know the fine details to everything, but it would just be dope to see like, oh, this is what you look like.
yeah.
I'm,
Right.
I'm the same size as you, or you sound like me, or I sound like you. Like it'd be cool, but life is what it is. Got to keep
Yeah. So the guy that played the father role, are you cool with him today? Do you
going.
talk to him today? Oh, okay, okay. So y'all
Yeah,
are cool.
yeah, he called me last night while I was in the gym. Like
Oh,
he
okay.
he yeah, he's solid. I mean, he going through some things. He had like a back surgery a few years ago. So he didn't put on some extra weight and his body is just not the same as it was when I was younger. And I part of me just like I be thinking about it sometimes where I would just be in my mind like, man, I would go home and just live with him for a little bit and fix him up and be the one to help him do this and that, and what I mean. But then another part of me is like, dang, like he lived his life the way he wanted to live his life. Like I need to do the same, and get myself to where I need to be to, maybe just financially be able to give him some kickback or something. But at the
Yeah,
same time, like he got his pension and stuff, and he put up, he got his own little home and stuff. But I definitely think about him a lot, like because like I don't have that biological dad that I know, so he
yeah.
definitely he is my dad, still. But yeah,
I
yeah,
feel that. I feel that. You're right. He played the role. He stepped up. And so biological or not, like you're right, that is your dad because of just the things that he was able to do for you, take care of you, how he
Sure.
sacrificed, you know what I'm saying? All the things that it takes to be a successful parent, biological or not, he did, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's cool to still obviously look for your biological father because at the end of the day, you know, that is the seed. You are the seed from that. But at the same time, it's good that you also still have that relationship with him as well to be like, you know what, no matter what, you still pops.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You always gonna be pops just because in my crucial years you were there,
Yep.
you know? I mean, I'm an adult now, so it's like I'm doing my thing on my own and stuff, but the crucial years, you were there for me. And that's what it's all about. I tell people, you know, people ask me from time to time, like, would you ever have a relationship with your dad? And to be honest with you, my answer to that is that, you know, I needed you to be there for the crucial years, the years where my mom struggled, you know. And I don't mean struggle from a standpoint of just like being a mother. She struggled because she didn't have that father to teach me how to be a man, right? And so those years, those crucial years, once you miss out on that, now I'm an adult. I don't really need you, you know. I, in my opinion, there's nothing you can teach me in in these moments, you know, being the age that I am.
Yeah.
And so, and it's not to be like malicious or anything like that. It's just one of those things where it's like, man, look, you're talking about allocating more energy than, let's be real, than I even have to give anyway, because my energy is allocated. I'm taking care of my family, you know, circle, stuff like that. And so for me, it's like, because you weren't there in the crucial years, I just don't need you to be there. I don't need anything. Like I'm not gonna come to you for advice, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at it. But you know, it's just one of those things where the person that played that role, man, that's your pops, that's your dad, bro.
Yeah.
Like straight up, you know. So, all right. So your journey, did you end up getting a scholarship to college?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
And
a hooping scholarship, right?
yep.
All right. Where did you end up going?
Ended up going to JUCO. I
Okay.
went to a junior college for 2 years called Illinois Central College,
Yep.
ICC. It was really solid. It was first time I'm out of my parents' home by myself. That first 2 years, I had an apartment with one roommate each year, so it was pretty dope. Like I didn't have like the traditional. I'm in the dorms immediately. It was like an apartment complex that was the dorms technically for the junior college, and that I can remember like it was yesterday. Like that was a good time. Like that junior college was a really good time. Like I was trying
Yeah.
to do too much. I was trying to do everything. I was trying to throw parties, party promote. I was trying to play basketball. I was trying to make music. I was trying to just be everything. And looking back, I probably should have just honed in on the basketball and figured out my diet. Because
Yeah.
I had a great opportunity at the junior college I was at. They had won a national championship a few years before I got there. So by the time I had got there, they were just finishing building like a $19 million facility
Mm.
with like 3 basketball courts for a practice gym, a track above. I ain't gonna hold. My JUCO was set up better than the D2 I ended up going to after JUCO. But
Wow.
The D2 I went to was like the stadium was bigger. Like the JUCO, it was a small like main gym. But the facility overall that we could train at, like what? Like we had the smoothies in the front you can buy and stuff after you get a workout in, and like we had like everything damn near looked like a D1, but we just had to pay. Like it wasn't like okay, softball, baseball, and basketball, y'all, and soccer, like y'all all can just come in here and eat for free. It was like you still had to pay, but the setup was just like it was big time. But then when I got to
Yeah.
the D2 after the 2 years. I ended up going to a school in Oklahoma called East Central University,
Okay.
and that was eye opening. Coach kind of sold us a dream. It was basically like a JUCO All Star team. Like it was his first year coaching, and he had came I think from a JUCO or something like that. So he bought like two guards with him from his JUCO, and then he just recruited everybody from all over that was in junior college, bought them on one team, so everybody had the same dream. And that was the part that made it so like looking back, I was just like, he kind of sold me on my visit, like, yeah, you probably gonna be our starting guard or small forward, but we got another guard or two like you gonna be going at it with in practice, and y'all gonna fight for y'all spot, but like it's looking like you got it, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, for
Um,
sure.
End up getting there, and it was just like it was so it was eye opening, honestly. Like I said, he kind of sold a dream, and then it was like you had to work for your spot and fight. And don't get me wrong, like I know my skill level, and I was willing to do X, Y, Z. But then there were other schools that like I knew if I would have went, I just would have been the guy. Like it wouldn't have been like
Yeah,
nobody had to fight for nothing. It was just like you. It would have been a less of a challenge, but it would have been like I'm gonna get the ball a lot and circle the offense around me to score
yeah,
and make sure that I facilitate. Whereas when I got to that school, it was more of a everybody's fighting for this spot. He had a system that he wanted to run, and he had his two guards already. That one of them I really admired. Like he was like a little Steph Curry with it. Like he had a nice three ball. He could run the offense really good. But it was like we couldn't do nothing without him on the court. And like
hmm,
looking back, I just used to be like, oh man, like if he would have just let some of us just bump and kind of just put him in a position to shoot threes or something, it could have been something different. But we struggled. And then after the school in Oklahoma, it was I ended up transferring because again, like I bought that energy from JUCO where I was just trying to do the parties and I was trying to be outside and play ball, and I ended up I think I was like about to connect with a teammate one night, and I roll up a little joint in the dorm room.
mm,
I roll up and just throw the guts in the garbage, and I go to the party, and I'm not even in my room. The resident assistant comes and sniffs the corner of my door and is like, I think it's in here. And then they like go into my room while I'm at a party. And I get a call from one of my teammates like, man, they got the police down here. They going through your room. Woo woo. I'm like, what? Why? Like, and they end up just they don't find nothing. Like I guess the weed was so strong that it just left. It lingered from under my door to the hallway, and um, that I left like the stems in the garbage can, so it just kind of smelled. And they didn't
hmm.
end up finding like anything in my room but like the stems in the garbage. It was like on the top of my garbage can, like at the very top. I just threw it away. And yeah, they end up finding that and testing it and saying it was weed, it was marijuana, and I ended up getting kicked out the dorms because I guess that like I broke the protocol, something like that. It was like a smoke free campus, which I knew, which this is why I did what I did to leave. But it was just like, there was nothing coach could do. So then at the remainder, like second half of the season, I ended up moving into an apartment with I think like another teammate that stayed off campus. And that was cool. But after that, the end of the season comes around, coach ends up getting fired. And then the new coach comes in, he sees what happened with me, and he's like, man, you gotta try back out. And I ain't gonna lie, I didn't humble myself. I was just like, I'm what? Why would I
Mm.
try out?
Right.
I already got sold a dream to come here, and this was gonna be this. Like they told me I got 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, so he's
Yeah.
basically gonna make me try out again with like all the a couple other players or whatever, because he was bringing in players from his old, from wherever he was coming from. So he was about to come with about 8 new players, and he was like, "Yeah, you can try out. The guys that were already here, they got the option to stay. They want to leave, they can leave, but it's gonna be a new system in place." Da, 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 da. And I didn't humble myself. I was like, "I'm gone." But I remember staying there for the summer, and I had got a little job out there because Oklahoma is dirt cheap to live and do
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
So
for sure.
I remember this. I was working at AT&T call center,
Okay.
and it was humbling. Like I was didn't humble myself to play ball, but I was just like, I'm not doing this. Like, and I don't really even want to be here again. So it's whatever. And honestly, that was a great decision looking back because it I ended up going to a school downtown Chicago called Robert Morris University.
Yep.
It don't exist no more. But they got bought out by another university, like one of our rival schools in the area. So now we merged with them, and like all the kids go to this school called Roosevelt University. But ended up going to Robert Morris, and at Robert Morris, I just I kind of lost my love for the sport for a second, and it was tough. The first year I came in, no grades, so I couldn't play. I was basically like red shirt in the first year, and we had a good run that year. I think we almost got it to nationals. And like two of the players on that team, one ended up going to the G League, and another one ended up going overseas. We had some dogs on that team. And then that um, next year I think I really wasn't even focused. Like I said, I wasn't playing that much, wasn't focused. And the setup of the school was so different from the JUCO and the D2 I was at. Like it was like you would have practice, then you get in the van. Our practice facility wasn't even near the school. We had to drive like 45 minutes to go to practice, then come back. And practice would be so short. Like it ain't like you really getting to lock in on like getting better. Like and then I gotta go to the suburbs because I was living an hour away from the school, hour 30 from the school.
Mm,
So it was just so different, like the hustle and bustle to play. So like I just lost the focus to like really be in it like I used like the other 3 years. And then toward the end of it though, I ended up getting a job with Jordan Brand and Nike,
nice.
um, with like a sports marketing agency. So, God works in mysterious ways. Um, by the time I was finishing my senior season, I had kind of landed that job, and I was still going to school, and I was working that job, and it was dope. Like by the end of senior year, like I was the kid on campus that like had a job with Jordan Brand. Everybody was like, "Dude, how you get on? Like, how you do this? How you do that? Can I come up there and play ball with you?" Because it was like at the time it was the Jumpman space in downtown Chicago. It just opened, and I'm a senior in school, and I got access to it, and that was dope. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah,
that was dope.
that's awesome, bro. That's dope. That's a heck of a story. No,
Yeah.
for real. Like that's wild. You mentioned earlier that you had talked to your mom and she was like, "Hey, listen, we're not gonna, you ain't getting whoopings no more. You gotta figure out how you gonna do college because I can't pay." When you got the scholarships, what was your mom's reaction? Was she proud of you? Or she was like, "I knew you could do it"? Like, kind of talk to me a little bit about what her reaction was when you told her you had got into college.
I mean, she knew by like my going into my senior year, she knew how good I was. Like she knew,
Okay.
like all right, something gonna happen for my baby. Like she was one of them. I was like, and midway through the senior season, I ended up fracturing my finger. I fractured my
Okay.
ring finger. I remember like it was yesterday. Like in mid game, it happens. I go to get a steal. I try to reach. Like when a player do a crossover, you meet him at the middle of the crossover at the bottom. My finger get caught in his shorts. My finger go this way, he go that way real fast. And
Mm,
it just snatched, like boom, pop, break. And I was like, ooh, damn, I looked down, my ring finger was on top of my pinky. and I just
Mm.
popped it back in, and I finished the game, and I ended up hitting a game like deciding three. It wasn't like the winner, but it was like a put them away three at the end. And the head coach from ICC was there at that game, and he was like, "Oh, this player got some dog in him. Like, we
Yeah.
need him." So I
Yeah.
got me the scholarship, and then I think like the rest of the year, I was in the cast for a while after that, and I came back around like right before regionals. And man, like I said, everything happens for a reason. I was so salty though that year because I just know like I had that whole area on Smash. Like if I would have played my full senior season, like just like got to play, like it was a lot of good players in our conference, like too, like. But yeah, my mom was super proud of me, like just the way I persevered and pushed through the injuries and stuff, and ended up getting a scholarship. And she ended up having my trunk party, like you know what the trunk party is, like where people come and they give you like little gifts to go away to school for.
Okay.
We ended up doing a trunk party at our church, and it was cool. Like she had a bunch of people come out, and the coach that signed me, he came. My dad was there. He came and got some cool pictures from that. I remember, and yeah, she was super proud. Like she knew I was gonna get it done. She knew I was gonna get it
Oh,
done.
talk to me a little bit about what you got going on right now. As far as like what are you doing right now? Career wise, just leisure time. Talk a little bit about what you got going on right now.
Career wise, I'm working in sales right now. I sell fragrance for Bond Number Nine. It's like a little part time gig. Nothing too crazy, but it's expensive.
I love
Expensive.
that cologne, by the way, bro.
Yeah. No, it's
That cologne is crazy.
yeah, it's expensive too. It's like $600, about like $550 a bottle. Like, but selling that, and then still making content, making this content on Instagram and TikTok, just about faith and fitness and fashion, and just getting back into the flow of that, just getting better at that, like really focusing up on that. I was able to, with the gig, save and get some better camera equipment. I want to get like another camera coming up soon, probably. And yeah, just really been focused on that. Just trying to get the content going the way that I want it to go. The whole landscape of content creation is, I feel like it's shifting a little bit, but I kind of been focused on that in my leisure time. Just working out, man. Just working out a ton. Getting my I told myself when I turned 30 that I wanted to look like a grown man. Like I felt like when I met you, like I was skinny, kind of didn't know what I what I was doing in the gym. And I remember just seeing guys like you, just men, just full figure man. I'm like, dude, like how do I get like that? Because I always struggled to put weight on and eating. People would just be like, you got to eat, you got to eat. But now I kind of figured out the hack. So my leisure time, I'm just in the gym, lifting weights, playing ball a couple times a week, just shooting around, make sure I still got that fluidity and I can still move, and I'm just not like a stiff bodybuilder out there. And
Yeah.
yeah, I like to go hiking and meditate. I tried snowboarding for the first time. Um, but yeah, like in my leisure time, just really just been in the gym for real. I think it's just that season of my life where I'm like rebranding and reconfiguring how I look and how I think. And then yeah, pretty soon I want to get to traveling more and get back out the country and do what I was doing a few years ago. But I just felt like I kind of had to do this rebranding of who I am and what I stand for, and just get myself together on the leisure side. And then obviously you got to pay bills and stuff. So just been kind
Right.
of figuring that out. But yeah.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's good, man. Well, I'm gonna get you out of here on this question, bro. It's a question that I like to ask all my guests that to conclude the episode. So if you are sitting across the table from 20-year-old T Bell, you in the current moment sitting across the table from 20-year-old T Bell, and he's really just trying to navigate life, man. And he's got some challenges that he's dealing with, that he's facing, trying to overcome them. But he's really just needing the encouragement and motivation from someone who went down that path before him and navigated that thing. If he comes to you and asks you for one piece of advice, what would you tell
Invest in Bitcoin.
him?
Or just invest in general. I would tell them that like everything that you're doing is a part of your journey. Like you figuring out what you like, what you don't like, who you really are in this landscape of life. But I would definitely tell them like the things that you deem important, you can have them all. If you just understand how to invest and let your money compound and let your money work for you, and then you will be able to enjoy life exactly how you envision it.
Wow. That's awesome, man. Invest, invest, invest. Not enough people are doing it, bro. And actually, I'm talking to myself too. I told myself this year was going to be the year that I really get into it because, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity with that. And it's not, and it's investing in different things, right? Not just like for example, like you said, Bitcoin or investing in stocks. I mean, you can invest in anything. You can invest in,
Oil,
I don't,
gas,
yeah,
gold,
yeah,
rice. Like it's so much,
yeah.
yeah, like stuff that like things that we use day to day that obviously fluctuate with the seasons, and then new things that are invented like AI and stuff like that. But there's so much stuff that you can invest in and just let your money compound, let it work for you. And that's definitely for sure the one thing I would say though, like looking back at 20-year-old me, because I remember Bitcoin coming out when I was in JUCO. Somebody was
Yeah.
talking about buying a pizza. We seen it on the news. You kind of just you ain't really think nothing of it though. You just kind of write it
Right.
off, and then
Yeah.
here we are today, $100,000 coin, $80,000 coin. You like, dang, if I'd have just bought five of them, shoot, I'd be up. But
Man.
it's just understanding that, like, as we move forward, this next decade of our lives, we can find a thing right now to just invest and hold into it. It's gonna be a couple more of them Bitcoin things coming around like soon. So just now it'll be a great time to, same thing. Invest, let the money compound, look back and be like, oh, okay. I got 500,000. I got 1.5 right now. Like just in that, I'm able to borrow against it, or I'm able to do this and could travel. I got more freedom. But yeah, that's what I would say for sure.
That's what's up. Well, this was good, man. This was good, man. I definitely appreciate you stopping by and just giving your perspective on things, giving your journey on things, and just kind of giving your story, man. You know what I'm saying? It seems like you've been through a lot, but you are here to tell about it. You know what I'm saying? And I always tell people a lot of people don't look like what they've been through. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And the reality is that you're out here, you're on a mission, you grinding, doing your thing, and you trying to put yourself in a position where you don't let the past take over who you are as an individual. You want to overcome it, right? You want to be able to look back and say, I made it out. I overcame this. Now look at me now. You know what I'm saying? And so it seems like your head is on straight and you're on the right path. So definitely commend you. I encourage you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep grinding. Keep, I mean, keep knocking on that door, and at some point it's going to open up. And just keep putting yourself in environments and positions to where people have to know you. They have to see you. When they talk about people, they gotta talk about T Bill. You know what I'm saying? And like you said earlier, it's like, you know, you left that school because you didn't want to be a option. You wanted to be the option, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do I get out here in life and present myself to where I'm the option, I'm the priority? And so having that grind mentality to do that, you putting yourself in a real good position to for doors to be opened up for you, man. So I'm just proud of you, bro, for real.
No, man, thank you. And again, I appreciate you for having me on the pod, man. This was dope.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, so make sure you following us on IG where we post reels from the episodes. And if you can't watch us, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast at Flip That Switch. So whether you're watching us or listening to us, just make sure you tapping in. Also, if you want to be a guest on the Flip That Switch podcast, you have a story that you think may resonate with a lot of people, hit me in the comments. I'd love to have you on the show, interview you. So if that's you, make sure you hit me in the comments. But T Bill, again, thank you, bro. And we definitely gonna keep in touch, man. I gotta come holler at you out there in LA when I'm in the building, and we're gonna link. But other than that, we're gonna see y'all for the next episode, and we out. Peace.
Peace.